What is hair dye made of? Way back before there were fancy hair dyes in stores, people used nature's own colors to dye their hair. They grabbed stuff like plants and flowers and squished them up to make special mixtures. Imagine a potion, but for your hair. They use things like henna, which make hair a reddish-brown color, or indigo, which makes it blue or black. It's like using magic from nature to give your hair a whole new look. Modern hair dye today is made up from a bunch of different chemicals that work together to change the color of your hair. These chemicals can include things like pigments, which give the dye its color, hydrogen peroxide, which helps the color stick to your hair, and ammonia, which helps the dye penetrate the hair shaft. There are also some other ingredients to make sure the dye spreads evenly and lasts a long time. So when you dye your hair, it's like using a special mix of ingredients to give your hair a whole new look. For those who have never dyed their hair, right now I'm going to tell you how to dye your hair. Using hair dye is like giving your hair a super cool makeover. First you gotta pick out the color you want and then gather up all your stuff like gloves and the dye itself. Now before you dive in, you gotta do a little skin test to make sure you're not allergic to the dye. Just dab a bit on your skin and wait to see if anything happens. Once you're in the clear, it's time to mix up the dye and get painting. You'll need to cover all your hair evenly, kind of like coloring with a really big crayon. Then you wait for a bit while the color works its magic. It's like waiting for a surprise to happen. After all, it's time to rinse. Wash out the dye and check your awesome new hair color. Oh, and don't forget to ask an adult for help the first few times you dye your hair, and always follow the instructions on the box to make sure you get the coolest result.